20 years ago, I was a senior in college, and my dad went away on a trip during my senior year of playing football. He was going to be gone for a week and miss a game, and he almost never missed a game. He would fly everywhere to watch me play from high school to college. So it was very weird that he would actually miss a game. And before he left, something felt off inside of him. I saw him like a day before he left, and he said, I'm going to go on a spiritual journey on this trip. And something was just shifted different in him. Then about a week later on the trip, he got in this car accident. He was in a coma for 3 months, and we didn't know if he was going to live or die. So it was a big shakeup to the family, to everyone, because he was kind of like the rock, right? He was the one who led us for our whole life. And so he eventually woke up from the coma. He was in New Zealand, so I didn't see him for a few months. He flew back, and I was expecting him to be the same, but he never was again. He was physically alive, but emotionally a different person. And he didn't remember much. So every time I saw him until he passed a few years ago, it was, where did you go to school again? What sport did you play again? He could have a conversation, but he didn't remember everything that he experienced in life. So it was like losing a father, but physically he's still alive. And as you know, Ken, that our beliefs influence our behaviors. And I started to have certain beliefs in life that were shaped much earlier than that from many different memories and stories that happened in my life where I created meaning around those memories. Those memories, that accident, everything in life shaped a belief system inside of me. And the belief system was I was very insecure at that moment. I didn't feel safe for a number of reasons, but that being one of the biggest ones. And yet I was in my early 20s, and so I was acting like I had it all put together. I had a big ego, but inside I was a really scared little boy. And I never knew how to create a connection between my adult male self with all the memories and stories and beliefs that I'd built from my earliest memories. And so it was a very confusing time, very scary time emotionally. In that time.
But I'm guessing also professionally and financially, in that, did you see yourself moving into his business, maybe working with him? At what point were you thinking about that, and how did that rock your
I
world?
went and took an internship. He worked at Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance for 30-something years, and I learned about the business, but it was never like my dream. And so he was like, go play football, take it as far as you can, go live whatever sports dream you have, and you can always come back and work with me. So it was a safety net, right? But it wasn't something that I was choosing. It was his dream as well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it would have been the wrong thing. It just wasn't what I was called to do.
Yeah.
And so this accident, for me, I truly believe that it was a gift for him and it was a gift for me, even though for years I didn't see it that way. And I don't think I could have become the person I am today without him going through that accident. Had he been healthy, had he been financially secure, and had I gone and worked for him, I don't think I'd be where I'm at. And I think it's these challenging experiences, that and many others that I experienced, that gave me a lot of drive, a lot of compassion for humanity, and made me curious about human beings, about why people think and do the things they do. And I also grew up not having many friends most of my childhood. So I was very driven.
Why is that?
I was the youngest of 4. My parents were fighting a lot. They loved us, but they didn't love each other. And so, again, I didn't feel emotionally safe at home, and I didn't have a model of marriage that was healthy. That's what I grew up in. Marriage felt like a trap. That was a belief that I had based on the memories.
Why not? That's all you saw.
So I saw it. It felt like a trap. It felt like fear. It felt very up and down, It just didn't feel good. So I begged my parents to send me away to a private boarding school when I was 13. They didn't want me to go. I begged them all summer long. I went out.
Wow.
And I didn't have friends for a number of reasons. One, my brother went to prison when I was 8 years old for 4.5 years. And it was just very confusing. I'm 8 years old. My hero, my oldest brother, who's 19, this happens to him. And there's a lot of shame, a lot of sadness, a lot of grief from my parents, and a lot of financial stress. So they don't make a lot of money at that point as it is. They're working very hard. Legal fees, the shame of it all, the community knows now, all this is piling up. So at 8, I wasn't really allowed to have friends, not because I didn't want them, but because the neighborhood parents didn't want their kids associating with me because of my brother, right? So I really felt alone. And I know that wasn't the case. I mean, I lived in a home, I had parents, I had siblings, but I emotionally felt alone. And I felt very unsafe and very insecure.
Sure.
And during this time, there was around this time, around 8, I just wanted to have friends. I just wanted to be accepted in the neighborhood just like any one of us would want. And there was a after-school club, and you're talking about beliefs, like how do these things shape us?
Yes.
Our memories and the meaning we give our memories create a belief within us, a story we tell ourselves. After school, there was these kids who were starting a club in the neighborhood. You know, they were like in their parents' basement doing whatever, playing video games or something. And they were like, hey, we're starting a club. And I was like, I want to be in the club. And they said, in order to join, there's 2 different ways. One, you can answer a question, a list of questions to get in. And if you get them correct, you're in. If not, then the second way is you have to pay money. And so I go, I don't have any money, so what's the questions? They ask me a list of questions, I get them all wrong. So it makes me feel even more insecure, lesser than, dumb, not enough, like this belief. And so I run home to Mom, and I say, Mom, I want to join this club, but it's $5. She looks at me with sadness. 1, because I don't have any friends, and I have to pay for friends. 2, because she doesn't have the money accessible. This is back in the late 80s, right? But she's like, let's play a game. I want you to run to the couch and open up the couch cushions and see if you can find some change. So I'm running around the house for like 30, 40 minutes. And she's like, okay, go to my dresser and open up my dresser drawer, see if we can find some change. We find enough change within that hour. She puts it in a shoebox. She's like, here you go. I run back to this kid's house and I say, I got the money. Can I be in the club? And they say, yes. We're hanging out in the basement, but they're in the corner playing and they don't hang out with me. So I'm not smart enough to be in a club or have friends. Money can't buy me friends. Then what's the point of life? That was a belief and a memory that was a wound that was just kind of like an underlying wound among many other things.
Sure.
That I created an emotional attachment to. I'm unlovable. People don't accept me. I'm not smart enough to fit in. People laugh at me. I was in special needs classes all through high school. I struggled. And I used false ego to try to protect myself and stand out and be accepted. So I got into stealing a lot when I was like 10, 11, 12. I would steal like candy bars at stores or just find ways to like feel powerful.
Yeah.
Because I felt weak. So how can I gain a sense of control, a sense of power? And essentially, I hurt others and I hurt myself in the process. And I was out of alignment with integrity. I had no integrity at that time. That's when I met some kids who went to this school. I was at a summer camp. I met these kids and I was like, these are positive kids. I want to be around this positive energy. Because I didn't feel like I had that with the community in my town necessarily until then. And that's when I left home and everything started to shift.